Ladies, all you need to do is sit down and figure out what it is that you want. Step one, what you want to experience, what you want to settle for. What do you want? Be very clear about it. Get into as much detail about it as you can. And then step two is figure out how you are going to be receptive to what you want. If, for example, you want somebody who is trustworthy, it's going to be very difficult for you to sustain a relationship with a person like that if you are not a trusting person, because your actions, your beliefs, your words are going to be coming from a place of lack of trust. Whereas if you are a trusting person, you're going to assume certain things that a trustworthy person is also assuming it. If you want somebody who takes care of his body, you have to be somebody who also takes good care of your body, and you're able to meet that person at that place, right? Have an appreciation for health. Because when you share the same values with somebody, then you're able to hold the one end of it and they're able to hold the other end of it. As a woman, at any point in time when you feel like you want to be dating, you want to get into a relationship, just get crystal clear about what it is that you want from a partner, and realize what in yourself needs to be the other piece of the puzzle that fits in with that. And then what you do is you date in that category, okay? If you figure out that some of the values that you have don't line up with another person, there's really no need to sit down and debate and argue and try and change this person's mind and try and influence this person. All you need to do is go move on to the next, okay? And also at the same time, figure out what in yourself is not really working and refine that, okay? Fine tune that. A lot of women are not realistic when it comes to the amount of work that they need to do on themselves. Okay, and I speak specifically about independent women because we tend to be so invested in spending a lot of time in our career. When it comes to romance and love, it's very difficult for us to let go and surrender and try something new and level up and aim to attract, someone at least at our level or better, because now it's extra effort. So a lot of independent women don't really like putting in the effort, and I get it, okay? But if you want somebody who is going to be at your level or better, it's not impossible. It's not unrealistic, okay? There are a lot of bachelors who are capable of taking care of women. In fact, there is a shortage in those kind of women that they want to date, right? Because most women are in direct competition with them. So if you want to date up, the men are there, okay? And all you need to do is figure out how much effort are you willing to put into yourself, into your self-development, into your image, into your personality, into your mannerisms. How much work are you willing to do to become a better, higher version of yourself? And that's the level of man that you're going to attract. From experience, I've dated from a Dusty whose mom was paying his bills to a man who paid off all the debt that I had, paid all my bills, took me on holiday, took me to places, countries I've never been to, okay? I'm not speaking from what I've seen on social media and what I've seen other people and their, friends or whatever doing. I'm speaking from experience because I've dated the one and I've dated the other. I can say this with confidence. Ladies, if you are willing to be ultra feminine when it comes to dating, you are willing to have standards, you're willing to stick to those standards and understand that some men are not going to like what it is that you desire. They're not going to have what it is that you desire on offer. It's up to you as a woman what it is that you desire, just like it's up to a man for him to go for what's in front of him or not. Okay, some men are picky, some men are not. But I don't really hear content where men are being told to just take whatever. Okay. Men are very strategic when it comes to dating. If they're dating you because you have more money than them, it's usually a strategic move. It's not usually based on love, because most men have a very masculine ego that they use to measure themselves against other men. And when they cannot measure up to other men, then, their ego has to find other ways to make itself relevant. I won't say that Tyler Perry is wrong, okay? I think he definitely has a market. This man has made millions, if not billions, from this very market that he's speaking to, okay? We've all seen the themes of his movies. These are the chats, okay? These are the concepts that he works with. This is his bread, literally, bread and butter. He's made an empire out of convincing Black women specifically to be breadwinners and to accept that their men are not going to take care of them, to be in a position to accept that they're not going to have the successful man. Choose somebody who can just pay a light bill.
A lot of women, especially Black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will, in our society right now, Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than Black men, right? There are a lot of Black men who are successful, but for the most part, Black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works, at whatever job, and is a good man and is good to you, and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill, as long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you've handled the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then, that is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's so hard for a lot of people to take in, because that means, no, I need somebody to, they need to make 5 times more, and I got to have, well, go and keep your list, baby.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hope it happens. Go and keep your list. But when you talk about just someone to love you and support you.
So all I'm going to say is he's not wrong for his target market. If that's what those women choose and those men choose, that's fine. But I think it would be a very big mistake for him to try and address all Black women, because we don't all have the same aspiration. We don't all have the same personalities. We don't all have the same experiences. We don't all have the same mindset and awareness and self-confidence to be able to get what we want, For me personally, I'm what you would consider an independent woman, and it's great to be able to see what I'm able to do and achieve. It's great, it's wonderful. But when it comes to romance, I do not make the mistake of wearing the pants over there, because if there's one place where I need to just breathe and be feminine, it's in romance. Romance is a snapshot of what ultimately you will choose for a life partner. So for me, having dated somebody who didn't even have a single responsibility between me and his mom, he was well taken care of, okay? To somebody who had taken care of me and, even contributed to various projects within my family and businesses that I wanted to start and try out. And I prefer the latter. I think it would be a very big mistake for Tyler Perry to say all black women should look for somebody who can only pay a light bill. I think it's very bizarre for him to normalize men that want to date women with money, but they cannot normalize. We're not allowed to say women find a provider man. Like, that's just bizarre. He should keep it to his target market and let other women do what they want to do. It's not a joke. If you have your standards, that's fine. But let's not make jokes. It's like saying you believe that everybody should only date the opposite gender, and some people choose not to do that. Let them people do what they gotta do. But are you gonna sit here and make a joke out of it because that's what they've chosen? That's bizarre. That's just rude. There's a lot of really successful men who want to date a woman, but they also want feminine, soft, receptive women that want to be taken care of, because these masculine men have the masculine instinct of taking care of their women. I remember my relationship, a couple of them with successful men, and they would say things like, babe, I think it's time for you to go get your nails done. Babe, I think it's time for you to, because I wasn't even like, that's not what I grew up being told, hold your own, right? When I experienced the opposite, the more they glowed me up, so to speak, the better they even felt about themselves. Like, I felt really good about myself, but they felt amazing about themselves because they basically polished this diamond themselves. So ladies, don't let these men or people with agendas fool you. Tyler Perry makes millions of dollars out of black women settling and black women struggling when it comes to romance. It works in his favor to push this narrative. And of course, if you share his belief system, that's great, that's fantastic. And, do what works for you, do what makes you happy. But I think we should also be mature enough and aware enough to know that out of the billions of people that are on planet Earth, everybody has a preference, a choice, an experience, a history, a desire, a need. Everybody, okay? And we cannot just make blanket statements like black women should be okay with somebody who can only pay a light bill. There are just too many things. I mean, I'm not even going to go into when women have children, if they choose to do so, what kind of implication that has in terms of their body, their energy, and their ability to sustain the level of, success that they could when they were single or when they did not have children. I'm not even going to talk about that, which is like a whole topic, but I don't have personal experience in it. But the videos that I've seen of women actually coming out saying how much they're actually struggling with kids, it's not this glamorized, motherhood is great. A lot of women are coming out and saying it's hard. But leaving that aside, I think black women should be let alone so that we date who we choose to date and how. The other reason why it really doesn't work out when a woman out-earns a man And I have seen this in my personal capacity. I have seen this with people in my real life around me who tried the whole Tyler Perry route. And when a woman is doing more than a man, she does one of two things. She, one, starts being domineering over this man, starts acting like his mother or his boss. She basically essentially owns him, and you hear it in the way that she talks to him, in the way that she takes ownership of everything, because he really cannot claim anything, from the house to the cars to any of that. Okay, so she does that, and then she also, after some time, starts wanting him to do the exact thing that she prided herself in not caring about. She starts saying, "Why don't you ever help me out?" The very thing that she was okay with becomes a problem. I remember, because I did that in my past relationship. I started, and it wasn't because of social media, because social media, first of all, wasn't even that big back then, and I wasn't really that big on social media. That was just not a part of my lifestyle. But because I wanted to feel special, I wanted to dress up, I wanted to go to a nice restaurant for our anniversary, I wanted us to have something special to do. And the worst part about it, ladies, the worst part about it is that I wanted to split the bill on our anniversary date. That's how far I was willing to go. It wasn't like, "Oh, you have to take me out." I was just like, "Can we go on our anniversary and get dressed and go on a nice date and sit at a nice restaurant, have a bottle of wine, have a nice dinner, come home? Can we do that?" And 4 anniversaries, not one time did we do that. And I wanted to split the bill. So, ladies, at some point you start wanting these things, and it's not because you saw your friend or you saw someone on social media. It's just because, as a woman, those are the things that make you feel loved and valued. When a man actually wants to provide for you, that's what makes you feel loved and valued. I remember in that relationship as well, where we were staying, I felt unsafe because I had 2 jobs, and the second job I'd come out really late, like 10 p.m. So I'd only get to the house at like 11. And because I was using public transport, the taxi would go all the way around the neighborhood, and I would usually be the last person off. So I felt extremely uncomfortable, unsafe. And I expressed this to my then boyfriend, and asked him, "Babe, can we please start looking for a place in a different area? Because this, if I'm going to keep working here, which I want to because I love it, I can't come home at this time and be the last person on the taxi. Like, it's not safe." And I think it was about a year that we went back and forth about this, but it never happened, because I later found out his mom was paying his rent. So there's no way he was going to tell her, "Oh, we're moving." You know what I mean? And so this whole fantasy of, even if you make more, you still can make it work if you have love. I loved this man, and I don't doubt that he loved me back, but he wasn't gonna do what I needed him to do, because for me, he wasn't that guy. He never was that guy. He was never the guy that will make things happen for me. He was never the guy that prioritized me. He was never the guy that was going to make sacrifices for me. And that's what sustains a relationship more than emotions. After 4 years, I felt nothing for this man. His physical attraction did nothing for me, because all I thought about was how many times I begged him to show up for me in a way that made me feel as a woman like I had a man who, if anything happened to me, I was safe. You know, he wasn't perfect. He didn't have to do absolutely everything for me. In fact, I was happy to do 50-50 with him. But I needed to know that if push came to shove, if I really needed him, you know, we were also planning a family. I needed to know that if I happened to have a family with this person, and for whatever reason I'm at my lowest and my weakest, I need to know that he'll be able to step in and do what he needs to do. And I never had that. And that's all I could think about when I would look at him 4 years later, is how he just could not, or it felt like would not, be there for me. Even when you follow this formula, I've followed it. I see people right now that are following this formula of don't count the money in the bank, just go with the emotion, go with, you know, this is the type of man that you want and whatever, everything else except the money, right? Fair enough. But after a couple of years, when life gets rough and she needs somebody to lean on because things are not working out, you know, or she's exhausted because, you know, she's been fighting an uphill battle or whatever, if she needs at least somebody to meet her halfway, let's just talk about 50-50. If she needs somebody to just meet her at 50-50, that person who's only ever paid a light bill is not gonna suddenly step up. He won't. And she will start resenting him for that, because she feels like, when can I take a break? And there's something in her, and this is what men that speak on women don't understand. Men are wired a certain way. Women are wired a certain way. For example, if you are a woman, you have a very limited amount of testosterone. Testosterone is the hormone that basically drives productivity, okay? You have very limited, and in fact, your body almost reads your testosterone, you know, activation as stress, because the only time women have historically used testosterone was under stressful times. It wasn't like men, you know, their testosterone boosts, makes them feel good, it's healthy for them, it gives them more energy. For us, it's the opposite. Testosterone drains us, okay, inside our bodies. So a woman can be really good and successful and productive and all of this kind of stuff, but for a short period of time. After that period lapses, she starts going through a couple of complications, because her body, her hormones are not designed to sustain a certain level of testosterone. It's unhealthy for us, whereas for men, the more testosterone their bodies generate, the healthier they are. The better it is for them, the better they feel. They feel alive. They feel, you know, they can do more. It's the opposite. So when you're asking us to become like men, you're actually asking us to kill who we really are. And that is something that I personally will not co-sign. So Tyler Perry, thanks for your contribution to this chat. Thank you for your views, and thank you for entertaining us all these years with some of the most triggering parts of our feminine, black feminine psyche. But I do think you have overstepped your mark. I think as a man, speaking on what a woman should do when you don't even have the physiological experience of being a woman. I mean, just a simple thing like our monthly cycles, it is so against my physical body for me to always be up and productive and at the office and doing my job and all of that. There are days in a month where I really just need to be laying down and left alone. Like, honestly, in my culture, you literally had a little hut that you would go to when you were on your cycle, back in the days. And you would go to your little hut and you would not be seen for those couple of days or for that week. And you'd be left alone, and then you'd only come out when your cycle was over and your energy was back, because we understood that a woman's needs are very different physiologically and hormonally from a man. A man can go out hunting for weeks on end and come back and be more rejuvenated, but a woman has a week at least in a month where she needs to just take it easy, put her feet up, and ideally just be left alone. So for somebody who's never even had a physiological experience or a hormonal experience as a woman to give such a bold recommendation, that is what's really laughable and bizarre, to laugh at a woman's actual built-in instincts. It's actually comedy writing itself. So ladies, do take into account that whatever it is that you want, you also have to be able to be receptive to it. You also have to be able to show up with an upgraded energy to meet these men where they are. And that's why I teach what I teach on my channel. That's why I share with you not only how to level up physically, but also how to show up in an energetic way that is going to match a masculine energy man who wants to provide for you. Men who are in the top 10% already know that being traditional providers gets them more in their career than trying to go 50-50. In fact, there are very few men who make it to the top 1% doing 50-50. Ironically, okay. So 2 incomes are not always better than 1. And of course, we're not all going to get the top 1%. We're not all even going to get the top 10%. But we can get the top 30%. We can get the top 40%. And if it means he just takes care of, 80% of the bills, we come in with 20, that's also fine. If that's what we want, okay? If that's what we can handle, if that's what we can manage. That's why, ladies, I always tell you to start educating yourself, start putting yourself in spaces where you're not only going to learn how wealthy and affluent and successful people dress, but also understand how they show up. What are their hobbies? What do they do on a daily basis? What do they talk about? Where do they hang out? What do they read? Who do they listen to? Are they getting coached? Who's coaching them? All of these are very pertinent questions, because if you don't know this, yes, you can be physically attractive to somebody who's masculine, but he will not take you seriously enough to want to provide for you if you don't have certain qualities. And these men are looking for women who have these qualities, because masculine men want to give love. They want to give love to feminine women. Okay, they also want a partner to go through. Like I said, marriage is one of the key things that separate men, average men, from successful men. Don't let these Tyler Perry movies fool you, okay? A lot of men make that jump into the top percentage when they get married, and when they get married to a woman who is supportive of his career, okay? So if this is resonating with you, ladies, I will urge you to like this video and to consider subscribing to my channel, because I'm not here to give you the glossy Instagram, oh, get him to, buy you Louis Vuitton. No, that's not what we're doing on this channel. But what we are doing is learning how to increase our own magnetism and our own character and our own femininity in a genuine and deep way, so that we can attract men that not only want to take us to nice dinners, buy us nice gifts, and spoil us and treat us really well, but when we are ready to be in a serious committed relationship, we have options if we want to be taken care of. And There's no shame in that, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want, ladies, say it with chest, own it. You don't have to feel bad for wanting to be taken care of, but all you need to do is just work on the parts of yourself that need to be polished a little bit, so that men that are able to give on this level and on this degree will actually see you and find themselves drawn to you and actually want to offer you the kind of romance that you desire. I'm going to leave this over here, ladies. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought when you first saw the Tyler Perry clip, because I know it's been making its rounds on social media for weeks, and I just wanted to give my perspective on that. So you give me your perspective down in the comments below, and I'll see you ladies in the next one. All right, bye.